One of President Franklin Roosevelt's solutions to the country's problems was a combination of federally run economic recovery programs. He called this a New Deal for Americans.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
The first and longest public works program he and Congress created was the Civilian Conservation Corp, or CCC.
So you had the wasted resource, the wasted human resource, and the wasted natural resource. And what the CCC did was to bring these two wasted resources together, and from that created a state park, created national parks, gave men an opportunity to use their skills, to be needed.
The CCC was formed to plant trees, fight soil erosion of valuable farmland, and dig ditches and build dams for flood control. It would enlist single unemployed men aged 18 to 23. Their salary was about $1 a day, most of which was required to be sent home to support their parents and siblings.
I felt that I had to do something with my life to try to, my mother was, and my sister, they needed a lot of things too, you know. And I thought, well, they sent $25 home to my mother, and we got $5 a month, that is. Now, that'd almost buy your toothpaste and a toothbrush, but that's what we used to get, $5 a month as in the camp. But 25 come home to your parents.
The administration of these sites would be handled by the Department of War. In fact, these soil soldiers even took an oath after applying.
I do solemnly swear that the information given above as to my status is correct. I understand further that any infraction of the rules or regulations of the Civilian Conservation Corp renders me liable to expulsion therefrom, so help me God.
Using surplus left over from what was then called the World War, the department was able to supply each enrollee with 2 full sets of clothes.
And they'd say, what size you want? Whatever they had in the hands, what you got. Didn't make any difference. Same thing was from start to finish. You had raincoats that fit an elephant. Some of the guys had some that wouldn't fit a monkey, but that's your pants, shirt, underwear, shoes, everything was like that. You just went from tent to tent. Whatever the guy had in his hand, that was your size.
Soon, CCC camps were set up all over the country, including at Black Hawk State Park. This meant much needed work for local carpenters and laborers who were employed to put up housing and other buildings. The new Camp Black Hawk would have a combined mess hall, kitchen, and 6 barracks. The barracks bathhouse even contained showers and flush toilets, making it one of the most advanced CCC camps in the country. The old Watchtower Inn, once the site of concerts and plays, would now be the official offices and living quarters of the camp superintendent and the project supervisors. On December 6, 1933, the 200 men of CCC Company 1674 arrived at Rock Island's train depot for duty at Camp Black Hawk. But these weren't young single men. Their average age was 40. They were unemployed veterans of the First World War who desperately needed a promised war bonus which by law couldn't be collected for many years. In the summer of 1932, over 20,000 veterans gathered in Washington, D.C. to persuade Congress to pass a bill that would make the money available immediately. Many would join a slow, continuous procession in front of the Capitol building that lasted for 3 days. When the bill was defeated, tensions grew. So President Hoover asked Army Chief of Staff General MacArthur to clear the protesters from Pennsylvania Avenue. MacArthur went further, sending his troops throughout the area, torching the veterans' makeshift homes. After becoming president, Franklin Roosevelt sought to help First World War veterans by expanding the CCC to include them.
As opposed to the young men, these older men, these veterans, were men that had families, they had homes. And so for them, entering into the CCC meant leaving their wife and their children behind. It meant moving into a barracks type situation, which might be a lot of fun when you're 18, but not so much fun when you're 40 years old and you've moved beyond that. So in that way, I think it would be very different. Plus, you would just have that feeling of responsibility, worry, concern about your wife and your family being able to care for themselves without the man of the house around.